And then we have the men behind the work. You know, I don't have time to go super deep into this in this sermon on Westcott and Hort, but, you know, I can give you a little homework. If you just look up two men, Brooke Foss Westcott and John Anthony Hort, or simply Westcott and Hort, and their connection to the new Bible translations, you'll find that they came up with a new Greek compilation, just like Erasmus took the majority text and said, here's one single volume we can all refer to that takes it all into account. They came up with their own version based on these newly discovered manuscripts. And when you look into Westcott and Hort, they had deep ties to people like Madame Blavatsky of the Theosophical Society. Many of you are familiar with that, which was basically a New Age Luciferian cult, and that Westcott and Hort themselves were necromancers and were into all kinds of the occult. If you look into them, we have their own writings admitting this, where they were trying to, you know, have seances and just do weird stuff, and they were connected to Madame Blavatsky. These were the two men responsible for the Greek compilation that would lead to the NIV, to the RSV, to the NASB, to the NLT, right? That's the New Age underlying source of these manuscripts, of these new Bibles. And so they were responsible for that Greek text that led to the seminaries developing scholastic disciplines like textual criticism that we often hear about, which is a postmodern way of interpreting the Bible. It's like they try to take like a made-up science and apply it to the Bible, to the text, using these new modern, and they just take all the different versions and all the different manuscripts, and they try to interpret it and come up with these new texts. And so they took their manuscript with the tools of textual criticism developed by the Jesuit-influenced seminaries. Remember, after the Reformation, there was a Counter-Reformation, and the Jesuits were behind the Counter-Reformation. They infiltrated the American universities, the European areas, you know, universities as well, and the seminaries. They infiltrated, and they had a great influence. And so that's when they began their work on the first revised English Standard Version of the Bible, the RSV, which most of you probably haven't heard of, but it was one of the first earlier ones, which then led to the NASB, which then led to the NIV, the NKJV, the ESV, and now the NLT. And now they've even got the CEB, the CSB, the MSG, and so on and so forth.